Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored. I appreciate it.
Who are you? What are you about? What are you doing?
I'm an inspired, independent music artist. I'm originally from New York City. To be exact, I'm from Brooklyn, which is Flatbush, Brooklyn. And as I would like to say, as we say, we call ourselves the flyest borough. And why we call ourselves the flyest borough is, based on, our swag, the way we dress, our slang and stuff like that. So we just like to stand out like a bit more. And I'm just like a kid that grew into a man that felt like he kind of found himself now. And here I am.
Okay, I have already so many questions on what you just said then. But I just, first of all, want to speak about the fact that you were from Brooklyn, but now you're here in Thailand.
Right.
So why did you move to Thailand? What was the reason behind it, if you can share that?
Sure.
And just the experience itself of doing a move, like how was that for you?
Sure. Well, it's a loaded question, right? I could find so many amazing things, but there are a little bit of dark things. I'm not going to say it's dark because it's enlightening. Let's put that. So, first of all, I love Thailand. I love the culture, the people, the mango sticky rice dessert. I just fell in love with it. Like I could just eat that for breakfast, dinner, lunch, all that, good stuff. I know you heard that in my accent, but we'll get into that. But, go back, to 2025, I had some really, great friends of mine that unfortunately has passed away, from, cancer to literally dying in their sleep of pneumonia. And it was a really telling sign for myself, like now is the time to make that leap because we only have one life, right? And I think people forget that, like, there's no do-overs in life. If you're trying to do something, now is the time. And I know some people may have different circumstances, but that was a time to in my life to say, you know what? Now is the time to make the move. All things are pointing that, and specifically here for Thailand.
Wow, yeah. To quote, we only have one life. And look, we all know that, right? Of course, everyone knows that we only have one life unless you believe in afterlife.
Yeah.
But I think we take it for granted still.
We do.
And when you think about it, in that way, I think it's a realization that it's scary. It's like, oh wait, hang on a minute. My time on this earth is a ticking,
Absolutely.
not time bomb. That's a little bit dramatic.
Well, it is a tick. Technically, we are on our heart is like a little tick, right?
Well,
and
that's true. Yeah.
You go,
So we're counting down, but it's also inspiring at the same time because it's a reminder that, our time on this planet is short, or it could be short, or it could be long. We just don't know. And so how are we making the most of it? So I love that was like your kind of reminder and your driver to do it. But, there's a lot of people who would think in this way, but also be too scared to take the leap. Because look, moving country is a massive deal. For a lot of people, it's one of the biggest changes that you can have. You might be leaving a career, loved ones, starting afresh. So many things that you could consider might go wrong.
Absolutely.
So for you, did you have any of that? Or were you just like, I'm out of here?
Well, no. I've been coming to Thailand, for the past 5 years. I know I wanted to live here, but I didn't know when was the right time, right? If that makes sense. So I kind of had it in my mind that I was leaning towards living in Thailand. But the thing was figuring out, firstly, when and how I'm going to move long term, right? Because there's so many different stipulations that get in the way, right? You can have different situations from finances to visas to having a family at home, right? There's so many different driving factors, but I kind of like pivot a little bit. I know I was kind of set up in a way that I was ready to go, but I didn't know when was the right time. But unfortunately, when that situation happened that we just spoke about, I said, you know what? Yeah, it's time to take that leap, Jay. And here we are.
Did you have any fear whatsoever? Like the night before packing your bags, when you were sat on the plane? Did you have any intrusive thoughts or like, what have I done?
Yeah, great question. I did have a little fear. The fear was, taking a flight all the way from, JFK to Thailand is across the world. And I love to travel, but I have fear of flying. I have a fear of flying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my thing was like, man, like, I'm praying about it. Hopefully I can make it all the way, over to Thailand, because I take a flight normally over to the Middle East, Doha, Qatar. So that was pretty much my biggest fear, like, taking such a long flight and how things can go wrong, even though, quote unquote, is one of the safest transportation is like in the skies, but that was my fear, to be, candid with you.
Right. And look, so many people share that fear, fear of flying. One of the reasons why my family won't come and visit me is because of this, right? But you still got yourself to take the step and you still got on there. So like, if you were to really just pinpoint that thought down, to get you to get on that plane, like, what was it? Was it that you'd already booked your ticket, so it was like, well, I can't go back now, I'm just gonna have to do it? Or was it like, what was there a specific thought that you can remember? So
the specific thought I remember, this was like a week even prior to me booking the ticket. I was kind of like sitting down and in my mind just having a conversation, like, are you ready for this? Like, are you doing this? And each day I would, kind of, write down I'm moving to Thailand, and I made it real to myself that, like, there's no going back. You're going to be committed. How I made myself committed, I would single-handedly write down on the paper every day, I'm moving to Thailand. I'm moving to Thailand. I'm moving to Thailand, leading all the way up to me actually booking the flight. And I'm actually moving to Thailand. And that was a real moment for me that I saw, like, me going back on my papers. I'm seeing how many times, I don't know, it had to be at least 25, 30 times that I wrote, I'm moving to Thailand. So it felt a bit real, right? When you could actually look at the words. So it felt very intentional, for myself, because I'm a bit of a writer. And when things are real to me, when I can actually look at it, because I'm a visual person, and that point in time in my life made it, real for myself.
I love that, because this is actually a really common fear exercise as well to do, along similar lines, where the brain can't differentiate between what is real and what is not. So, for example, if you have a fear of public speaking, they say practice in the mirror and practice at home, and just keep practicing and really go into the deep visualizations that it's really happening, and get your body to feel it, all the sensations, and just keep doing it, so that when the real scenario comes along, you've almost like familiarized yourself with what's going to happen, and it's not as much of a shock. Which is essentially what it sounds like what you did there. I love that. Absolutely love that. So Jason, you are a music artist. And is this something that you've always done, or did you have another career before? What led you to music?
Sure. So I always enjoyed the fact of music. I actually used to dance professionally. I enjoyed dancing and stuff. And then I got into kind of like media stuff. The thing for myself, I enjoy like entertaining people, getting to know people through the form of like entertainment. So I'll just take you on a quick journey. I started out as like a dancer. We used to do this thing called Flex in Brooklyn, back where us as youths will go to this event where we all come together with these different dance routines, and we used to kind of battle each other, and then we can actually win money as a prize, and so forth, and trophies and all that. And then fast forward, I got into my own media firm, which is Diamond Media News, interviewing celebrities on red carpet events. And then I got into the entertainment sector, where we do more private for a wedding, bar and bat mitzvahs. I mean, over the top weddings you can ever think of. And then I got into music, but I've always been a writer. I always enjoy writing and telling stories. And I found a love, putting that pen to the paper and making stories real. And I found my love for music, and I enjoyed, sharing that, with people.
I love that. Wow,
Thanks,
that is
appreciate
a
it.
journey, and how it's all linked and transitioned together as well. Yeah.
Yes, it all linked. And then now fast forward here, I'm on a bigger mission that I've ever been. I'm trying to share my music with the world on a level that I've never done. I've also collaborated with platinum recording artist Neil, which is it was a great experience for myself.
Oh, yeah.
So in that pivotal moment, told me it's time to kind of, take things on a whole another level. So I'm pushing for greatness as we speak.
Pushing for greatness.
Absolutely.
What a quote. Love that. So to be a music artist, you also do shows.
Yes.
You got to get up on stage.
Yes.
There's hundreds, if not thousands, depending on the show, of girls screaming your name.
Hey, I mean,
I'm sure there are. But you're standing there on stage, all eyes on you, all lights on you. Talk me through those moments, those last couple of minutes before you step out onto that stage, and everyone's there waiting for you, and you're just about to go on. What is going through? My heart's racing thinking about it, because I know how I would feel.
Yeah.
But talk me through it. What is going on for you in that moment?
Sure. So I get a little butterflies in my stomach, and I believe any entertainer, if you're not getting any type of butterflies in your stomach, that means you're just kind of not enjoying what you're doing. Because I enjoy the feedback of the crowd, and I can see how they're enjoying my music. So I normally do a bit of a prayer first, and just because I want to make sure everyone has a great time, but most importantly, I want to make sure I give my all to people. So when I'm entertaining and performing, I actually look in people's eyes to engage, for it to be real, so they can actually feel my energy, because it's transferred energy, right? When we're entertaining, it's transferred energy. So my thing is, I connect with people as much as people I can kind of look at, lock eyes with. And I know it's all going to be okay. I'm having a good time as long as I'm kind of connecting with them. So I could literally be just like this, but we connected together.
I bet the girls are loving that. I bet they're like, oh my God, he looked at me in the eyes.
They're like, wow, this guy he's serious about it. Because I feel like I'm a different person too when I get on stage. I turn into a different person.
Do you have
I'm not
Beyonce
the same person.
has it? Well, okay, there's so many more, but I just know Beyonce has this alter ego, right? Sasha Fierce, what she calls herself. So when she's on stage, she's not Beyonce anymore. She's Sasha Fierce. Do you have this? You have almost like an alter ego?
I do. I have an alter ego. I feel like something comes in me, and I'm like this entertainer that's just like rapper / rock star. I'm jumping all over the place. I'm just because people know me as the bit calm guy and kind of but the minute I'm on stage, I'm hyper. I'm like a fire, literally someone just open my mouth and then, spark a little fire and throw it in me. And I'm just on turn up mode, for some reason. So I'm it's straight fire.
Do you think that helps with confidence a little bit as well? Because you said that you, Jason, you're normally pretty calm, laid back, chill, but on stage you're entertainer, you're fired up, your energy. Do you feel like that almost helps you somewhat with being on stage in front of so many people, because it's almost like you're not you, or okay, so if you were to take away all of that fire and charge up, and you were to step on stage as you every day, Jason, do you think that you would still have the same confidence?
No.
Right. What do you think the difference is? Yeah.
The difference, why, I think it's very important as an entertainer, right? So if you're entertaining people, they need to see, you're having a good time. So if you're not having a good time, how are you going to interject that energy for people to have a good time too as well? So at the end of the day, it starts with yourself. So you having fun, that great. Guess what? That thing called energy is contagious. So you having a grand time, guess what? Most likely everyone will have a good time. Look at him. He's not taking stuff serious. He's jumping all over. Or he could just be like standing there, but he's feeling himself. He's connecting, right? And the energy interjects, if that makes sense.
So it's almost like this alter ego that kind of comes over you is like the confident one. And when you sort of like put on that suit, you know that you can do it. And the fear kind of goes away. I love that because I feel like that could also be applied to the like just everyday person who has to give a presentation at work, right? Who might be super scared. Like public speaking is one of the biggest fears.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like if maybe that could be a really good approach to kind of have an alter ego. Like doing the practice, right? And making it feel real. But then also like, okay, we're going to put on the suit and we're just going to do it. And it's alter ego time kind of thing. Right. Because I also think that's still, for me personally, I believe it's super important to stay authentic in everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you can still be authentic, but have this other side to you as well, right?
Absolutely.
I love that.
And then, you know, even with some people, right, they could say, hey, like, I'm here doing a presentation. I may be awkward as fuck as moments, but I'm going to make sure I get my point across. All right, guys? And, you know, just little things like that. People can say, like, this person is just being them. I may be a little awkward at times, but it's okay. I'm going to make sure you get the information you need. And if not, we'll have a private conversation in the back and we'll figure it out, that we can make sure you understand everything I said, right?
Like own it, right? Own it. Yeah. I love that. I want to ask you, have you ever experienced a life-changing moment?
Oof. I was coming in from an event. I was pretty exhausted. I was staying at this hotel, this glass door or whatever, and they locked the hotel door, the front door, for some reason. I don't know why. And I pulled the door and it literally smashed on me. And it was like 500 pounds of pressure of glass that came all down on me. And I only end up needing a little stitches from it. But the hospital was so shocked that I'm alive. I'm so lucky. Like the way the glass was shattered, like, and then it didn't puncture me in any kind of way, besides me getting like stitches, and then my lip was kind of swollen and stuff like that. So that was a very lucky moment for when the whole glass came crashing down on me. Like it was like 500 pounds of pressure of glass that could have punctured me in so many different ways. And I just like, damn, I feel like a cat, 9 lives. I'm like, these bunch of different experiences. I'm like, damn, Jay, like.
I mean, they're unique. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm like, so those were pretty interesting.
Did anything change for you mentally after these experiences?
Mentally, I just stopped worrying about small stuff. I just like, I don't make a lot of things bother me. It'll probably get to me for a little bit and I just kind of push it to the side because, you know, you still got your life and what more can you ask for? There's some people, right, in hospitals and they literally telling them, you only have a few months to live. You only have maybe a year to live. And can you imagine being in that moment? And like at that moment, nothing else matters. It's like how much time I have left right on this earth. So these are the things that I kind of like, you know, think about. And that's why we should truly live as much as we can. Right? Don't be afraid. Go outside. Do things that you push yourself out your comfort. Who cares? Guess what? In another 150 years, we'll all be gone. And the other people that behind, right, will just be a thing of, right?
We'll just be digital versions
We'll just be digital versions. And who the hell going to be cared to judging anyone? We're all going to be in the same place. So the memories will be gone. We won't have any memories left. So who cares who thinks or decides? Who cares? Who care?
So if that's not a reason just to go out and live and
you're going to die. We're all going to die. Who cares? We all going to the same place.
What makes you proud?
What makes me proud?
Yeah, like let's say you just sit at home on the sofa and you're like, I'm proud of myself for doing that. What
makes me proud that I know how to motivate myself. I don't need anyone to clap for me. I can clap for myself. So I'm proud of myself that I don't really need people to kind of give me the drive that I need to push forward in anything.
How do you do that?
I just ignite. My process is I just kind of like, I'll take a space to kind of like myself. I'll sit down, have a cup of coffee, and just start to say, all right, what's the goal today? What would I like to tackle? And how do I plan to tackle it? And that's the thing for me. I like to be, strategic in the power of writing something down. Again, writing down, what am I looking to accomplish? What's the goal today? Am I satisfied? So, excuse me, I like to, write it down, what I'm looking to accomplish, and then I just on go mode. I don't overthink. I used to overthink. Don't overthink. Go.
I want to ask you about that because I am queen overthinker.
Yeah.
I just cannot seem to break out of it. I try and I overthink everything. So you say that you just don't overthink. Well, how do you stop yourself from overthinking?
Doing. Not being afraid of fucking up, not be afraid of tripping. You have to trip.
So I feel like that's, if we go, because you said doing, and I'm like, yeah, but easier said than done. But then you said the fear of not fucking. Oops. Well, yeah. Okay, we swore already. Yeah. The fear of not fucking up.
Yeah. Right. Just think about when we were a kid. We got on that bike. How fearless that, right? We know that's a possibility. We're gonna fall, right? We just said it, but we're learning, kind of like But just to add on to that, right? It comes with habits. The habit is, I'm just gonna do it. I have to push myself. If I give myself too much to think, I'm not gonna do it. I just have to. Let me give a chance. Let me try. Okay. If I fall, all right, come on. I know I have to create these habits.
Okay, but if you could create like a 3-5 step process for that, because I feel like it's always so easy for people to say, just do it. Yeah. Just do it. But when you're really like struggling and this is something that's like really holding you back and you really can't do it, it's someone just saying, just do it. Right. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, is there, like, if you could, I don't know, like, put it into a 3-step process, how would that look?
Well, I would say, what's my biggest fear, right? It's not real. First of all, tell yourself, whatever you're fearing right now, it's not real. Is it something that's going to harm you? What is going to... Your life, it's supposed to feel this way, right? You're supposed to fail at things. You're supposed to try. Life wasn't meant to be perfect, right? And we have to understand that life is not meant to be perfect. So let's get that out the way. Understand we ain't gonna be perfect at things. Some things we do, some things we feel. People, like, all things will happen the way it will happen. And nothing can stop that. So the more you try to fight against it, you can't. Because it's that thing called life. Let's get that out the way. 2, let's write it down. What am I trying to accomplish? Let's look at that, right? Let's take small steps at the end of the week. Am I satisfied? What stopped me from getting a little bit closer where I'm trying to get to? Did I push myself enough? Or did I let my kind of fear continue to get in the way? That's not really real. Like, what am I fighting against? Me afraid of falling, knowing that I can easily get back up if I fall, literally? What's the problem? And 3, create that habit. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Because at some point in life, you ain't gonna be able to push no more because we're gonna be too old to push.
What do you mean by keep pushing?
Keep trying. Keep trying, creating the habit. I mean by creating a habit, right? If we don't create habits, we won't get anywhere. We will find ourselves in the same spot because we're not trying to create habits. And that big thing that gets in the way is fear. Is fear nothing but fear itself? Because it's illusion, right? When we think about fear, it's illusion, right? Unless it's something that's going to cause myself harm or potentially cause someone else harm. Get that out the way. What's the problem? Or you feel someone looking and say, oh, that's not cool what she's doing. Who cares? We're not cool. We're not meant to be cool 100% of the time. Right? Yeah. At the end of the day.
And I think the reason why people worry about not looking cool or what other people think is there's usually a deeper meaning to that.
Of course.
Like fear of failure, and then, okay, well, why are you so afraid to fail?
Yeah.
Disappointment, shame. Who are you afraid of disappointing or is going to cause shame on? So I always feel like there's like a whole trail that can go deep down. And I think you said at the start, number one, what is your fear? Identify your fear, and then also why are you afraid of failing? I think that's super important to understand the why. Why do you have that fear? Where was this fear birthed from? Because we're not popped out, on the hospital bed with fears, right? They're developed over time and over life. So where does that come from? And how rational or irrational is it? We're switching it a little bit, staying on track, but switching a little bit. How do you believe that self-confidence is achieved? Because I look at you and I see a very confident person, just in day-to-day life as I know you, but also I guess you have to be for your work, right? Right. So there's a need to be, have to be, but then there's also just this natural confidence that you have. How do you feel like you achieve that? Have you always been confident, or was that learned?
It was learned over time. The thing is, we got to have that thing called self-love. You got to literally love the hell out of yourself, right? Because it starts with us. Once you love the hell out of yourself, it would take mountains to move you. Because when you value yourself as a human being, you know that you belong, you know that we all have special traits. We're here for a reason. We all have our different path. We build that sense of confidence within. So once we tap into that, it's an inner power that we have. And I truly believe we all have like that inner power, but we have to find a way to tap and say, you know what? I love myself. I love who I am, who I came out as a human being. And I've been through so much in life, and I am who I am as a person. You've done a good job, Jay. Like, good for you.
How do you do that?
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, right, we have to look ourselves like in the mirror, right? So we got to fall in love with ourselves, right? So we got to look in that mirror and tell us, you know what? I love who I am. I love who I became. I love the way I dress. I love the way I smile. I love that I'm awkward at times. This is the unique me, right?
Can I just pause you for a second? When you say we've got to look at ourselves in the mirror,
right?
Are you speaking like actually look ourselves in the mirror, or are you saying like metaphorically?
Absolutely, we got to look ourselves in the mirror,
right?
Absolutely, right? Before you go outside, we need to make sure like we look okay, right? To step out in public, I want to feel comfortable. I want to make sure like I don't have any things in my eyes, anything weird on my face, toothpaste or anything like that. So we need to take that moment, that minute, 2 minutes to just like, you know what, I love who I became. And tell ourselves that, literally.
Wait, so let's say you're just about to leave the house and you've done your checks, you're looking good, got everything in check.
Right.
And you would then actually do that. Like you would look at yourself and you would say,
exactly,
I love you in the mirror.
I love myself. I'll look at myself, even coming back in, I'll have a look at myself. I'm like, wow, I'm getting the results. I'm exercising. I'm kind of seeing the results, and that's a part of like self-love. I love that. I'm enjoying that. I'm my journey and stuff. So I literally look myself in the mirror every day, and wow, I look good today. I look good.
There's a thing called the mirror technique.
Yep.
And it's I guess it's similar in the fact that you have to spend time looking at yourself in the eyes and repeating affirmations to yourself, right? Whatever the affirmations may be.
Right.
And I feel like this is so challenging for a lot of people because, of course, everyone looks in the mirror day to day. Like, like I said, whether we're brushing our teeth, hair, putting on makeup, checking our clothing, whatever. Everyone looks in the mirror, but not with meaning.
There you go.
Right? It's just a quick glance over, check. Like, it's very rare that we would look at our eyes, unless you're putting in your contact lenses.
Right.
But, so to do that, it's like making eye contact with yourself, which I feel like could be quite unnerving for some people.
Yeah. You have to, right? if we can't look ourselves in the mirror, how can we look anyone else in the eyes and be intentional? If I can't look at my own self, right? So if I can't have a meaningful look at myself, how I'm going to have a meaningful look at anyone else, if that makes sense. So at the end of the day, that starts with us. And that's a good way to really, start to interject that self-love into us, is being very intentional. Not just looking in the mirror when we're brushing our teeth or whatever, or washing our face, but really looking like, damn, like, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of me. Like, you're doing good.
What about if you're having a really shit day? Right, because this is all fair and well if you've woken up and you're feeling great and, vibes are high and whatever. Right. But what if you're having a really, really shit day? Like, would you still be able to do that? Like, would you still go to the mirror and keep that habit? Of course,
because we got to remember, we're going to have shit days. Just know we have another day that things will be better. But just say, all right, I'll take a day, I'll write it off. Let me focus on what I can control. You can't control everything. You can't control how people what they're gonna say and do at times, right? But what we could try to figure out, how can I control that moment, and what gonna be my go-to? My go-to is, I'll write. Yes, it was shitty today, but I'll write off today. But guess what? Tomorrow's gonna be a better day. It's fine. I have another shot at what I'm trying to do.
I want to ask you: have you ever taken a risk on something, and it's all gone Pete Tong? Oh, wait, do you know what that means, Pete Tong?
Like it went to shit? Or
yeah. Like, so have you ever taken a risk on something and it's all just gone?
So I took a risk during COVID. I was investing in a drop shipping company. I invested $50,000, and there was a delivery issue with China at the time, because a lot of ports were shut down, and clients, I was getting a bunch of chargebacks and stuff like that. So I literally washed $50,000 down the drain.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was a
How
crazy
did that
moment.
make you feel?
Horrible. I was so upset. I'm like, how can you? I could have literally put it in so many things to make it sit, or even just put it in the savings. Like, what did I? So that was a crazy point of time. Like,
that must have been really like gut wrenching.
Yeah, I can't believe I blew $50,000.
That's a lot of money to. Yeah. It is. How did you deal with that? Like, how did you kind of? I mean, were you over it straight away, or did it take a minute?
I was pretty upset for a few months. I was kind of down and stuff, but I had to tell myself, like, this is a big boys game, big boys and big girls game. If you're gonna be investing, you gotta know that you have to be willing to take losses to gain wins. So if you think you're gonna win all the time at life, guess what? You're in for a rude awakening, right? Because we always get to see the end result, but we don't get to see the starting or the middle. We always see the end. So a lot of people who invest they failed so many times before they got that big win and take off. So when I understood that, I was like, this is the part of the journey. You must be willing to take losses, and how you deal with those losses to move forward, that's what's going to be the counter factor. So it's at the end of the race. It's not the beginning or the middle, but it's the end that you keep push, and you are able to essentially gain the result where you're looking to get to. So there's people who lost millions of dollars. They somehow bounce back somehow, where they're able to make it, right? So,
well, and it sounds like you were able just to keep going. A lot of people might lose or have been in a similar situation where they've essentially thrown $50,000 down the drain, or if that's what it feels like, and then that would just put them off.
Of course.
Like, that'd be it then. They wouldn't want to do it again because they'll be so scared of, oh, well, what if it happens again? But, it sounds like you didn't let it hold you back. Like, you found ways to still move forward somehow.
It's a part of the deal, right? We have to fall before we can walk straight, right? If that makes sense. We have to fall because we have to learn what we did and what can we do different to pivot.
For people who are watching this, who are potentially feeling like they're held back by something in life, that they're not living true to their life or fulfilling, if you could give one, I'm sure you could give many, but if you could give one piece of advice to someone, let's pretend you're having a conversation with them, like, what would that be?
This is going to be a bit deep, but I think hopefully this will be awakening for people. Put yourself in someone's shoes that when the doctor looking down with his glasses say, ma'am or sir, you only have 2 months to live, 3 months, 4 or 5. And he say, I don't want you to focus on that, but what do you plan to do? Right? So put yourself in that, right? But now look how much time you have left compared to that person. So that should motivate the hell out of you, saying, you know what? Because in that moment, it ain't going to matter. You ain't going to be worrying, oh, what this person said to me. Or you're going to, it's like, damn, I don't have, and what can I do now? I don't have that much time left, right? So put yourself in that shoes, and that should be motivation enough to knowing that you're healthy, you're fine, everything else doesn't really matter. Don't create that self-false of reality. And I'm going to leave on another note. Don't worry about how other people think of you or if someone tried to put you down in any way, because that has nothing to do with you. That has to do with themselves, right? Their disbelief in life and that they're just trying to interject onto you. You are a unique person in your own right. Make sure you find that self-love within yourself, and nothing will able to stop you in your journey and where you're trying to go to. So I'll leave it there, Steve.
Love that. Thank you so much, Jason, for coming on here. I feel inspired, so I'm sure anyone watching this feels inspired too.